took a life, and now his is shattered too.
Addiction has many faces. Texting and driving when you know it's life-threatening and illegal can be one of them. Take back control. Put the phone down.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection to brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
What are you doing?
Just getting in the holiday spirit.
It's a little early for Jingle Bells and Christmas in general.
It's never too early for Christmas, but Renewal by Anderson of South Dakota's Christmas in July sale just got me in the mood.
A window sale started all of this?
It's not just any window sale. It's Renewal by Anderson, and it's their best offer of the year.
Okay, settle down. I'll get the ladder, and we'll get started hanging the lights.
Renewal by Anderson's Christmas in July sale. 20% off every window and door, and no money, no payment, and no interest for 18 months with approved credit. This means no payments until 2025. Hurry, the holiday savings end August 15th. Hassle-free, energy-efficient, low-maintenance windows with a professional fit. Renewal by Anderson uses Fibrex windows, keeping your home cooler in the summer, warmer in winter, and reduces your energy bill. They only do windows. They're experts, no subcontractors. Call today for a free in-home estimate. For a perfect fit, call 605-593-5991. That's 605-593-5991. Renewal by Anderson of South Dakota, when only the best will do.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Done just prior to baseball's trade deadline, including the Baltimore Orioles reportedly agreeing on a deal to acquire Cardinals pitcher Jack Flaherty. That's according to Fox Sports' Ken Rosenthal. Other moves getting done, the big one of the day, Justin Verlander on his way from the Mets to the Houston Astros in exchange for prospects Drew Gilbert and Ryan Clifford. The Phillies are acquiring pitcher Michael Lorenzen from the Tigers. Tigers pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez reportedly invoked his no-trade clause, blocking a deal to the Dodgers. That's according to ESPN. Diamondbacks got outfielder Tommy Pham from the Mets, while the Brewers acquired Arizona reliever Andrew Chafin from the Snakes. Blue Jays acquired Cardinals infielder Paul DeJong earlier this afternoon. Maybe some insurance for Bo Bichette. Skipper John Schneider of Toronto said today Bichette considered day-to-day with his knee injury. Padres acquired the Pirates' Rich Hill and He-Man Choi.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Welcome back in on a Tuesday. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. We know that. We're back and ready. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM on the radio side. A lot of ways you can listen or watch. FoxSportsRapidCity.com. Live stream us there on your phone. You're good to go. Also, bring us up on Twitter right now. We're live in studio. Fox Sports Rapid City. You can find us at Nate Brown Show. Watch the show live 4 to 6 at Nate Brown Show on Twitter. Follow us and you're good. Also on YouTube, our YouTube channel up and rolling, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. So we're set and ready on a Tuesday. We are brought to you in part by the Rehab Doctors when it comes to pain relief without surgery. See the Rehab Doctors, the official sports medicine physicians of the Rapid City Rush, and also your pain relief experts in Rapid City. Back pain, leg pain, neck pain. See the Rehab Doctors. They remind you don't need a referral. You have a choice for your medical care, and they're ready. Rehab Doctors for pain relief without surgery. Take the first step to feeling better at therehabdoctors.com. The Nate Brown Show back on Fox Sports Rapid City. We'll get some questions of the day rolling today. Thought-provoking sports talk, a great guest lineup. Let's get going. Busy day in sports, MLB trade deadline, so we're going to hit that with Clinton Yates, one of my favorites. I go back a long way with Clinton Yates. He's on ESPN Around the Horn, and he's on that show a lot. Really good Major League Baseball guy. I started working with him way back in Washington, D.C. for this show called the George Michael Sports Machine. Me and Clinton were both young guys back in that day, and I'm not going to say we're old yet, but yeah, we're getting there. Clinton Yates on today talking Major League Baseball. He's from ESPN's Around the Horn. Also to the NFL, Frank Schwab continues his countdown as training camps get cranking. The best of the best in each division. Frank Schwab on tonight, NFL writer, Yahoo Sports. We will get into the Pac-12 college football scenario. Things interesting, nothing popping today, but some news on the media deal. So the Pac-12 is trying to get a new media deal. They need cash for their schools. They're losing the Colorado Buffaloes. They're getting ready to lose Arizona, I think. No news on that yet. Arizona's having a meeting as we speak, the Board of Trustees. But Zach Barnett's on tonight, national college football writer for Football Scoop, the latest on where the Pac-12 is going and what that media deal looked like. The ADs and the presidents of the Pac-12 met today, and they went over the media deal. Hey, what are we going to do? It looks like a lot of streaming, and there's a little caveat with it, how much they would get paid, each school. They didn't get a deal done, I think, because of that, all the reporting out. So Zach Barnett's in tonight, footballscoop.com, national college football writer. Then we'll go to Craig Maddock in the 5 o'clock hour with SDPB Sports live from Sioux Falls. And Sam Herder's on tonight, covers FCS football for HeroSports.com. We'll talk South Dakota State. The Missouri Valley football rankings came out today. Who's number one preseason in the Missouri Valley? You may guess. Okay, we'll get to Sam Herder coming up. Busy Tuesday show, ready to rock and roll. Let's get you on. 720-1067 is our number. Live studio line. You can join the program as always. 720-1067 is our number. Also, the Barron's Wilson text line. Direct text the show anytime. Text the show at 720-1067 right there on the Barron's Wilson listener text line. Okay, I knew this was going to happen, okay? It's this time of year in the NFL, so I'm going to start the show with this, and then we'll get to some MLB stuff and go from there. I'm starting the show with this list that comes out every year at this time, and it's the top 100 NFL players. Okay, why this list is interesting to me, this is voted on by the players. So this isn't the media hacks like, who? Yeah, this isn't the media saying who's good and who's not good. And this is the players and the respect they have for their other players around the league. And they release this time of year, 10 players at a time. So this has been going on. The news of today, though, is we find out where your boy, Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins, is ranked this year. So let me start with the NFL top 100 and this situation, polarizing figure that is Kirk Cousins for the Minnesota Vikings. So the top 100's been coming out. They've ranked some quarterbacks already. Now Kirk Cousins makes the list. Kirk Cousins jumps from last year's NFL player ranking of 57. He was 57. This is all positions, by the way. Some of you Kirk Cousins haters, I could hear you. 57th best quarterback. Yeah, that's about right. Come on, give me a break. Okay, this is all positions. Quarterback, everybody. Kirk Cousins came in last year at 57th best player in the league in the top 100. This year, Kirk Cousins comes in today at number 42. And you're going to say, well, come on, that's not that. That's a 15 spot jump. It's a 15 spot jump. He had 8 game-winning drives last year. You Vikings fans may remember this. Over 4,500 yards. So the NFL players went to the votes this year, and they said, Kirk's pretty good. We're going to bump him up from 57th to number 42. And you can say, well, 42, that's top 100, so he's in the top half. That's not a big deal. Here's where it gets interesting to me, and I'll get your feedback on this because I love hearing from the Kirk Cousins fans, or lack thereof. I've stuck up for Kirk. You guys know this, and I've made it a point. I believe Kirk Cousins is way better than people think. I'm not going to tell you he's going to be a Super Bowl winner for sure, But, boy, he needs a good defense to help him out because the Vikings had squat, and they really have struggled when it comes to helping Kirk Cousins out, especially on the defensive side as of late. So Kirk Cousins, to me, is good. But is he this good? Meaning, Kirk Cousins looks like he's going to be ranked the number 6 best quarterback in the NFL right now. And why do I say that? As they work through this list, the NFL Top 100, voted on by NFL players every year, there's already been numerous quarterbacks that have been released that are lower than Kirk Cousins. Okay, there's Aaron Rodgers comes in this year at number 51 in the Top 100. Kirk's 9 spots better out of all players. Dak Prescott, number 56. So some of you guys that say Prescott's better and Aaron Rodgers this past year, well, he's Aaron Rodgers. He's just better. His numbers weren't better. His season was not better. But I know there's arguments that can be made. So this list goes on. A lot of quarterbacks have already been put out there, and they're lower than Kirk Cousins. Cousins coming in at 42. For example, Lamar Jackson just signed a big deal. Baltimore Ravens comes in at number 72. I'm a little surprised by that one. Lamar Jackson voted by the players 72 out of the top 100 players in the NFL. You're saying Lamar Jackson, MVP? Lamar Jackson can't change a game? He's number 72 for you. Is that because of the injury problems that he's had? Maybe. But I'm going to tell you, if I'm a player and I'm facing Lamar Jackson, I don't think it's an easy day at the ballpark. I don't think that's a walk through the park. But they go Lamar Jackson 72. So here's the deal. There's going to be 5 more quarterbacks that are guaranteed to make this list. So I've got them right in front of me. They're going to beat Kirk Cousins. And it is Mahomes. It's Justin Herbert. It's Josh Allen. It's Joe Burrow at the Bengals. And it's going to be Jalen Hurts. So there's your top 5 quarterbacks that I know is going to be on this list. And so that leads me to my opening deal. Kirk Cousins, many of you have told me over the years, you've said he's a top 10 quarterback, Nate. He's not a top 10. He's a middle tier guy, like top 15. Nobody ever really thought of Kirk Cousins as close to a top 5 today until this poll comes out from the players who say Kirk Cousins is going to check in at number 6. I don't think there's any other quarterbacks that are going to be on this list over the next week or two. You telling me Kyler Murray's going to be listed better than Kirk Cousins? I'm not buying that. I'm not like Matthew Stafford. That's the only other guys I can think of. All these other guys are coming up. There's going to be 5 guaranteed better than Kirk. So today they rank Kirk, the players, the 6th best quarterback in the NFL right now. Do you buy that ranking? My question of the day as we start tonight, 720-1067 is our number. The Nate Brown Show question of the day brought to you by Murphy's, by the way, downtown Main Street. Brand new menu. Great place for lunch. Out on the patio. Grab a cold one. Enjoy Murphy's, downtown Main Street. Question of the day on the Nate Brown Show. As the top 100 list is out today, there's players getting released. On the list, Kirk Cousins comes in as 6th ranked quarterback in the league. My question to you, is that a fair ranking? Okay? That's my question to you. Is that a fair ranking? 720-1067 on the Barron's Wilson text line. I want to see which way people are voting on this, by the way, because there's a lot of Kirk haters. I do know that. I'm not a Kirk, what would I say? You wouldn't call me a Kirk apologist. You wouldn't call me a Kirk fanboy, but you'd call me a Kirk Cousins. Hey, I got respect for the guy. I think he can play. I've explained that from a football side where he hasn't had great support, especially on the defensive side as of late. I've got a little surprise for you, though, where I would rank Kirk Cousins. The players say he's going to be, right here, the 6th best quarterback in the NFL right now. Do you think that's a fair ranking for Kirk Cousins? I want to know. Let's go to the poll question, by the way. 720-1067 is our number. Let's go to the poll results. I've asked the audience. They're voting right now on Twitter, and the votes are coming in this way. 68% say, I would put him in the top 6. He's playing at a high level. 68%. 32% say that's overrated. That's overrated. I'm surprised Kirk's winning the public poll right now anyway. Did he win everybody's favor on this new documentary on Netflix, Quarterback? Did he get did he get on your guys' good side? Because I've heard on this show he stinks. I've always said I think he's top 10. He's right on that borderline. I think he's top 10. Would I put him at number 6 like the players did? Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Are you sitting down, Nate?
Yes, I am.
Is every Minnesota Viking fan sitting down before I tell you?
Okay.
I would.
You'd put him at 6 behind those 5? Did I lose you? You was just getting good.
No,
okay.
No,
all right.
I'm trying to come back, but
okay.
Yeah, I would. Here's the deal with Kirk. He just can't win the big games. But you get enough people around him, he's definitely top 6. The kid can throw.
Okay. But he doesn't win the big games. You've hammered Kirk, but man, I was expecting something else from you. That's why I'm glad I'm sitting down.
Well, yeah, that's why I make sure all your listeners that are Vikings, to me, it's winning or losing. I don't care if you threw for 10 yards as long as you won the game.
Yeah, you're big on that. I know that, Steve. You're big on that.
It's that old wrestler. It's, who got his hand raised at the end of the match.
You win or you lose is your point. And my point has been he's had a bad defense, but nonetheless.
Quit it. They're professionals.
All right.
I don't want to hear about the winner and loser, but the worst quarterback to me,
the worst,
the most overrated, is Lamar Jackson.
Really? I don't think so.
I really don't. What has he won? He didn't win in college.
The Ravens win quite a bit. He's been hurt, but they've won a lot.
Yeah, but what's the playoff record?
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
Yeah, that's like Shunky, the big heavyweight from Brandon Valley. Four-time state champion. He went to Nationals this year, and he got a rude awakening. I mean,
I'd take Lamar.
Who cares what you did last week? Who cares what you did last year? What did you do today, son?
I do have to admit something. I would take Lamar over Kirk Cousins. I would take Lamar.
Well, yeah, because you like that fancy. Ooh, he ran for 120 yards and won. But when it comes to Week 14, he's not there.
Well, we'll see. All right, buddy.
Nate, it's like Kyle Murray too. My God.
I don't think he's on my list.
200 and some million.
Yeah, he's raking it in. Good to hear from you. Thanks for getting started. I appreciate the a vote of confidence for Kirk Cousins from Steve on a Tuesday, on a random Tuesday, and I just didn't think I'd get that. But I love it, by the way. Let's see. Listener text 720-1067 of the Nate Brown Show. My question is, the players rank Kirk Cousins as the 6th best quarterback in the NFL. Is that fair to you? The big 5, the guys. I went through them. Mahomes, Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Burrow. Okay? There's the big 5. But Kirk Cousins comes in on the players list today right after them. Is that fair to you? Listener text, Cousins is B- or C+. Vikings are stuck and can't get a better one. B- or C+, that's not number 6. B- or C+ is like number 15 or 18 in the league. B- or C+. Listener text 720-1067. You tell me about Kirk. I would put him in the top 6. Kirk Cousins is statistically the number 6 ranked quarterback in the NFL. So you would go that route. Listener text, I would put Kirk in the top 5. My goodness, what? Am I in the twilight zone today? I mean, I've spent the last 2 years on the Nate Brown Show sticking up for Kirk Cousins and thinking he's pretty good and his stats are better than Aaron Rodgers last year, but I couldn't find any Kirk Cousins fan club members here in the Black Hills very often, and now today they're coming out of the woodwork. Maybe it's just the respect of the players. Say, well, the players got him at number 6, and he's such a nice guy on the quarterback documentary on Netflix. I'm going to put him high up there. I love it, by the way, the support for Kirk Cousins. I'm going to admit to you, though, no, he should not be top 5. He's not top 5. I'm going to admit to you, he's not number 6. I do believe his play, I'm going to be fair on this, he is a top 10 guy. Do I think Lamar Jackson is better than Kirk Cousins right now? I do. Do I think Dak Prescott is better than Kirk Cousins? I think so. You know, people were debating on this show months ago, who's better, Jimmy Garoppolo or Kirk Cousins? Now, I'm taking Kirk in that argument all day. And there was a lot of people say, I'm going to go Jimmy G. Jimmy G's not even sniffing this list. I mean, Jimmy G's not even in the top 100 list from the players. He's not even in there. Justin Fields is in at number 86. The players put Trevor Lawrence at number 96. You try. So careful what these players are saying sometimes. They got Trevor Lawrence 10 spots behind Justin Fields. What am I seeing there? Are we out to lunch? My take is, I do believe Lamar Jackson is better. If you're going to tell me I've got Lamar Jackson this season or Kirk Cousins, you cannot tell me, Vikings fans today, I'm talking to the Vikings fans today, you wouldn't take Lamar Jackson over Kirk Cousins right here, right now? Are you kidding me? No, that's just not the case. You would take Lamar. I have a feeling some of you might take Dak Prescott. I have a feeling some of you would. And then you got Aaron Rodgers, who I say is on the big-time tail end. We can see that. 39 years old. I don't think Aaron is the guy. So I think this is fair to put him at number 51. He's coming in at the 7th best quarterback. He's right behind Cousins on the top 100 list today. And I think that's fair. But you wouldn't tell me Kirk's number 6. I'm not buying that. Listener text coming in. Let's see. More votes on it. Would you rank him number 6 today? 69% of the audience says yes, playing at a high level. 69% say yes. Listener text, I was hoping you wouldn't say Dak was better. I said maybe. I said that's an argument. Dak Prescott being better is debatable, is it not? I mean, come on. Lamar Jackson's better. We're talking about Lamar Jackson being an MVP, being a game breaker, a playmaker. Kirk Cousins is good. I'm the Kirk guy, but I can't go too far at number 6. I think that's going too far. So I would vote with the 31% say it's a tad overrated today. Players put him in at number 6. I love it. I'll always stick up for Kirk Cousins for the most part. He's had the last 2 years, really good years. Really nice years. 8 game-winning drives last year alone. The defense was Swiss cheese, and I mean bad. One of the worst defenses you've ever seen in Vikings history. Is that fair? I mean, it was terrible. Yeah, I mean, it was bad. And Cousins still won 13 games, honestly. So Kirk's good. He's top 10. I would make an argument for a few players, quarterbacks, to be ahead of him. Really quick here, I want to go to this. Really quick on the local side. So Wednesday, over there at Post 22, you've got the Central Plains Regional Baseball Tournament. And I've said, I encourage the community, get out and enjoy it. Baseball town, Rapid City, going to be popping this week. See, Central Plains Regional, some of the best teams, Nebraska, Minnesota. You're going to see some really good teams here. And the Central Plains Regional winner goes to the American Legion World Series. So you got high-level teams. Post 22 is the host team. They play Wednesday night against Elkhorn South. And so I said, this is going to be a fun tournament. It got me looking at some baseball things happening this summer. And it got me thinking about what's the difference between Legion baseball now. How popular is Legion? It has shrunk across the country. It's still popular, especially in this part of the country, upper Midwest. The Central Plains Regional is a strong area for Legion, but a lot of the South has gone the high school route. A lot of other places have gone the traveling baseball route. We even have some traveling baseball here in town. And so I said, where's this at, the popularity? Legion baseball, where are the best players? Legion baseball or travel baseball? And then I run across this story today, and I said, is this something that is out of control? And I just wanted to touch on this. There's a dad who's talking about his summer of baseball from Louisville, Kentucky. Okay, he's talking about the circuit that he's been on. He's been traveling. It's summer travel baseball. And this dad says today in this story from Louisville, Kentucky, he spent about $15,000 to have his son play in the baseball tournaments throughout the summer. He said that's all in. That's all in now, about $15,000. And so I started thinking about this, going, okay, is this the direction that parents and players are going? The travel baseball route can get very expensive, obviously, and I'm sure it depends on what events, what tournaments, where you're going, the flights, the whole thing. This guy from Louisville said, hey, I've spent about $15,000. I wish I didn't have to. I wish it wasn't that expensive, but that's what we've done. And it's the travel baseball route. And so I started thinking, what type of system is that? Is that the system that you're in? Is that just what we're in? Where youth sports has now become a $39 billion industry? It was just $19 billion a few years ago. The youth sports nationwide industry was $19 billion a few years ago. It's $39 billion this year. And they say it's going to get up to $70 billion in the future. Is that the route that you have to go? Hey, this is just a specific sport I mentioned because we're in the summer of baseball. Travel baseball, Dad says, I spent about $15K. It is what it is, basically. And so my question to you is that what a parent does? Is that the youth sports model, or is that bogus? Is that scenario having to spend this much money to get in this event, to go to that event? Is the youth sports industry out of control? It's a tough question. Why? Because parents would say, well, you gotta get in the game. I mean, you gotta do things like this. So you have to make sure that you go to these events. And I'm sitting here looking back, I'm going, $15K? Is this guy an elite level player? His son from Louisville, Kentucky? Maybe he is. Is that going to pay off? I would tell you on the scholarship side, on baseball specifically, not necessarily. Most D1 baseball players, I'm talking D1, they have about 30% of their tuition covered. I mean, is this something that parents know when they go to this and they go to that and they're on this circuit and they're spending all of this money, and this event says, we're going to get you in here and there's going to be college coaches and it costs this much. And I said, most D1 players, you look at the model, they have about 30% of their tuition covered. That's in the sport of baseball. This isn't football, everybody gets it covered. This isn't basketball, everybody gets it covered at the D1 level. When you get into these other sports, even if they're mainstream like baseball, 30% of your tuition covered potentially as a D1 baseball player, and we're spending maybe $15,000 in a summer. Sounds like the system isn't working. It sounds like the system isn't working to me. Listener reaction to this. I want to see what the votes are. Listener text, I think this needs more context. What type of tournaments? What level is the kid wanting to play at? What level can he play at? Well, I don't know. I just said D1's a high level. Even getting D1, you don't get full rides all the time, everybody across the board. The best of the best can get that at the best programs. But largely, D1 baseball, you look at it an average, 30% of the tuition's covered across that roster, at an average. 87% responding on the poll on the Nate Brown Show saying that sports model is a scam. I don't know if I'd go that far, because there are great events. There's things that provide exposure, especially for kids from maybe South Dakota that wouldn't get it. But it's interesting. People are playing Legion baseball. You got to fundraise. You got to pay for that too. You do. A little bit different model than the traveling baseball model where you go to this event, that event, and sometimes it can get the price tag up. 13% say it's just what a parent has to do. The Nate Brown Show moves on, and we're coming back with Clinton Yates from ESPN's Around the Horn, live next.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Santa is back. It's Christmas in July 2023, and Renewal by Andersen is giving the best gift ever this year. First, you get 20% off every window and patio door. And get this, no money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. That means no payments until 2025. But act fast. Santa and the reindeer can't take the heat. This offer ends August 15th. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Andersen's Christmas in July sale is here. Thank you, Santa.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Partly cloudy skies tonight with a low of 64. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. A blend of clouds and sun again tomorrow. Slight chance for scattered thunderstorms. Highs around 90. Slight chance for scattered thunderstorms. Tomorrow night 64. Cloudy skies. Low 80s Thursday, mid 70s by Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently it's 85.
For 84 years, Pomps Tire Service has been providing best-in-class service and value. We have grown to over 200 locations and are one of a few service providers that buy tires manufacturer direct. We are proud to pass those savings on to you, our customers. Pomps, the tire and service professionals, family-owned since 1939. Through August 31st, get up to $130 in rebates on select Firestone tires, up to $140 in rebates on select Bridgestone tires, or up to $240 in rebates on select Goodyear tires. See store for details or visit us at pompstire.com.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
Hi, it's Colin Coward. Great to be in the Black Hills. Getting heard weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Rapid City, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. Busy, packed show tonight. I love it. Frank Schwab coming up, NFL writer, Yahoo Sports. Zach Barnett on the latest with the Pac-12. They've had an interesting media meeting today with a media deal with the presidents and ADs. What's next for the Pac-12? I don't know. I don't think you can call it the Pac-12 for much longer. Zach Barnett's on tonight, footballscoop.com. He's straight ahead. And one of my guys from way back in the day, we've had him on. I said, I got to go to him, I don't know, once or twice a year, but I can't go to him all the time. ESPN's Around the Horn. Clinton Yates, and it's Major League Baseball trade deadline day, so I said, today's the day, because Clinton's a Major League Baseball guy. He is. Find him on Twitter at Clinton Yates, and he's here on the Nate Brown Show. Clinton, good to have you, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm just sitting here watching every single team other than the Los Angeles Dodgers, where I live, improve their baseball team via pitching today. It's pretty remarkable to see.
So that's interesting. I want to get into some of this. Let's start with this, with some of the big moves. Big one is Verlander back to the Astros. I don't know what my reaction is to it other than, well, the Mets were selling. What did you think of that addition by the Astros?
I was in the same boat, Nate. I sort of thought to myself, he literally just left that team, and he's the one who opted out of the player option in order to try to go to the market. So I think the story with that is not as much Verlander going back to Houston. I mean, we barely got used to him in New York. It's what is going on with the Mets. They've decided to get rid of Scherzer. They claimed they weren't making a fire sale, and they now have gotten rid of Verlander. And you just think, for the past 3 seasons, this team has been spending money, acquiring talent, and getting rid of it with no wins as fast as anybody in the league. And it's kind of embarrassing from a front office standpoint if you're a Mets fan to think that this much talent has come through their doors and they have nothing to show for it, and half those guys aren't even on the team anymore. It's just not how you're supposed to run a Major League Baseball franchise.
Okay, so speaking of the Mets, Scherzer's going to the Rangers. Scherzer's on the record saying that he talked to Billy, that's the GM. He said, are we going to reload for next year? And the quote was, no, we're not. We're looking for 25, 26. What should Mets fans or baseball fans think of? So we spent all this money, and now we're going to go back to the drawing board? What do you think of that?
I mean, look, I've been on the record as saying that I think the Mets are kind of a clown show and always have been a clown show. But that is typically has to do with the results on the field and or their behavior behind closed doors, such as when they were throwing chairs at each other in the front office. But this, to me, is closer to negligence and malpractice. I don't like that at all. I mean, you're selling season tickets up against the idea that you're at least going to be trying to be competing, and now you're acting as if you're a small market squad that can't figure anything out from year to year. I would be extremely disappointed if I was a Mets fan, and I'm not saying that the commissioner needs to step in, but this is the kind of garbage that gets people to turn away from Major League Baseball in general. Teams that either don't have the competence or the confidence to actually take a swing and put a good team together. They just try to get the biggest name in the building, and then when that doesn't work, they jettison them and say, oh, well, we tried. It's just kind of lame.
Did Scherzer spill the beans there? Was that off the mark?
I don't know about that. I mean, perhaps, Scherzer was a guy that came to New York, but he was supposed to be sort of the leader in the clubhouse for a team that had gone astray in terms of, people who might remember what was going on with that team from a leadership standpoint. But I think that was just him being honest about what's actually happening. Scherzer's been on a lot of teams in this league. He's won a World Series. He's won a World Series. Not to say he has the best World Series or playoff record in the world, but he knows what he's looking at. He's also a guy that negotiates with the league. So you're going to be, from an MLBPA standpoint. So, you're going to get a straight shot from him no matter what.
Clinton Yates on tonight. He's on ESPN's Around the Horn. He's been doing a great job on that show for a long time, talking MLB trade deadline. So the Angels, they say, we're going to try and stay in this. More importantly, we're going to keep Shohei Ohtani. So what did you think of that play? What's in the long term for the Angels and Ohtani, do you believe?
I actually thought that was one of the more refreshing things we've seen out of a Major League Baseball franchise in a while. Artie Moreno, the owner of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, gets hammered for a lot of different reasons, and they're completely understandable. He spends too much money on certain players that other people do not covet the same way that he does. He does not find a way to develop talent around his stars in order to get to the playoffs. And he also faked out everybody when he said he was going to leave as owner and then said, psych, I'm coming back. You got more to deal with. So he's a relatively unlikable character. But this was the right move for two reasons. Number one, when it comes to being a baseball fan, the longevity of the season is something that is basically the only advantage you have in terms of your value add. If you've got something good, you get to see it a lot. Shohei Ohtani is obviously a product that has no possible trade value in terms of getting an equal player or multiple players. It's just not realistic. So I think to return it back to the fans and say, we're keeping this guy was one move. But number two, they didn't just sit on their laurels. They got more pitching. They decided to go after some guys in order to try to bolster their lineup. That, to me, is about as good of an effort as you can ask. And, Nate, in comparison to what the Mets are doing, think about those two dichotomies. The Angels have something, and they kept it. And they said, we're going to ride this out. You might give it a shot. Let's not forget, last year the Phillies were the last team in the playoffs, and they made the World Series. Before that, the Braves got in with 88, 87 wins, whatever it was, and won the World Series. And also, the year that the Halos won the World Series last was the first year that they had the wild card, and the Angels were it. This is not some distant project that has no basis in reality for the Halos. It's something that is very much in play, and I think Moreno did the right move by saying, we're going for it. He's the best shot we got.
A couple more with Clinton Yates talking MLB, ESPN's Around the Horn. He's on Twitter. Follow him at Clinton Yates. My Cubbies. Hey, you and I go way back. You know I used to watch the Cubbies at the sports machine back there. My Cubbies are 53-53. They haven't done much lately. They're kind of just piecing it together, and then they made a few moves here. So they're not spending big. They didn't get rid of big players. So they think at 500 they could stay in this thing in the NL. Is that right?
Yeah, and I also think that they're in the business of understanding that they are really not the big boy franchise that a lot of people want to treat them like, as in they're just going to be blowing cash every single year in order to try to win a World Series. I mean, you can say what you like after 100-odd years of not winning anything that you finally got one. Okay, now's the time to keep going for it, but they seem to be completely content with not blowing what they already have. And again, I don't hate that. I am not of the opinion that every team in a big city needs to be spending money like, gangbusters every single time they have an opportunity to. I kind of appreciate the fact that they didn't get rid of Cody Bellinger, a guy who's got an MVP under his belt, who, has found a little bit of a form. I still think that team, even though hovering around 500 might not be a threat to win the Commissioner's Trophy, hey, things take time to build, and that's something that, especially when you pick up a guy like a Dansby Swanson who came off of a World Series team, it's going to take a couple seasons. You're not necessarily going to jump right back into it. So, Cubbies fans, fear not. This is called simply consistency. And that is something that a lot of Major League teams don't know actually how to execute.
Okay, we'll see where that goes. Cubs are 53-53. Can the Orioles stay in this thing all the way, Clinton?
I think that they can. So the Orioles, a lot of people were like, oh, my God, they came out of nowhere. Incorrect. The O's were good last year, and the O's have been doing something that I commend them for so much, which is they picked a bunch of young dudes, and guess what? They put them on their Major League Baseball team. What a novel thought. They didn't try to manipulate a bunch of service time, and guess what? Their team is effing good. Adley Rutschman is one of the best players I've ever seen with my own eyeballs. I've been covering that kid since he was in Oregon State winning college national championships. They've got all the pieces it takes to make a run, and they're the best team in the best division in baseball. There's no reason to believe they couldn't do this. They just picked up Jack Flaherty, a right-handed arm from St. Louis, who's been up and down and kind of maligned with that franchise. They're going for it once again. There was even talk that Ohtani might even be in their mix as a pure rental because they have the best farm system in America. I love the O's story. They're an overlooked baseball city, most generally because of the history there and the fact that they haven't been very good for 10 or 15 years, but they're one of the most fun stories in the bigs, and they're a heck of a team to watch as well in terms of how they play baseball.
Okay, a couple of quick ones, non-baseball for Clinton Yates, ESPN's Around the Horn. You follow the World Cup closely. Are you down on the women here? They draw and barely getting out of there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a situation where this team is not that good and the rest of the world is that good. People got to ask themselves, are you a fan of women's soccer because you like the U.S. women's national team, or do you actually want to see the sport grow globally in order to give more opportunities to young ladies who want to play the game? Many of these women who you see playing right now are not Americans and never will be. And I mean, in the context of they probably won't ever play here for their clubs either. This is what the growth of the game looks like. Other nations learn how to succeed and how to play. And trust me, these nations care about soccer just as much. They just finally started spending money on their female athletes, which is a good thing overall for the greater good of the sport.
Okay, I know you're a D.C. guy, so how about Washington, the sale, Snyder's gone? What's this going to be like for Washington?
You know, I sort of divorced myself from that team, and that's not something I ever have a problem with, and that's something I'm not ever going to go back on. But I still have a lot of friends who are there, and I know a lot of people who used to work for that franchise and work in industries around that team. I am so happy for them. Magic Johnson being involved is also a very good thing. Josh Harris is a guy who's from the area, and I say this, and I've said this before to other people. People are like, oh, well, they're not going to be great right off the gate. Obviously. But the fact is that readmission into polite society was worth the fight for that fan base. Who knows what they're going to do with the name? Who knows what they're going to do with, success on the field? But being able to hold your head high and say that you root for that team after 30 years of shame, my guy, I'm happy for anybody who gets to do that. Never mind any team I might have rooted for as a kid.
Great to have him today. MLB deadline is trade deadline's out the door. Clinton Yates on tonight. ESPN Around the Horn. Watch him. Good stuff, Clinton. Good to talk to you. Thanks for the time.
Good to talk to you, brother. Have a good show. I know you got a packed one. See you later.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Clinton Yates on tonight. ESPN's Around the Horn. Great panelist on that show. He's done an outstanding job. I worked all the way back in the day watching a ton of baseball at the George Michael Sports Machine with Clinton Yates back as we started out as production assistants. Was that? That was my official title. Production assistant for NBC in Washington, D.C. Clinton Yates now has been with ESPN a long time. You watch him on Around the Horn. He's on Twitter at Clinton Yates. The Nate Brown Show, built by Consolidated Construction. I want to tell you about this company because for more than 70 years, Consolidated has known each project's more than a building. They know it's a community. It's your business launchpad. It's your hard work coming to life. So Consolidated knows each project has a true purpose You want to work with somebody that was born in the Dakotas. That's their company. They're ingrained their business now into the community. Consolidated Construction. Learn more at onecalltobuild.com. onecalltobuild.com. Consolidated Construction and the Nate Brown Show. On Fox Sports Rapid City, we're back with Frank Schwab, NFL writer, Yahoo Sports. Nathaniel Hackett, former Broncos head coach, said he didn't like it. He didn't like what Sean Payton had to say. That's next.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City.
Santa is back. It's Christmas in July 2023, and Renewal by Andersen is giving the best gift ever this year. First, you get 20% off every window and patio door. And get this, no money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. That means no payments until 2025. But act fast. Santa and the reindeer can't take the heat. This offer ends August 15th. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Andersen's Christmas in July sale is here. Thank you, Santa.
Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone. It's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Need somewhere to go for a quick bite to eat for lunch? Murphy's has you covered with a half sandwich and soup lunch special, plus daily specials to get you fueled up and ready for the rest of the day. Meet and eat for lunch at Murphy's, a Rapid City icon.
Chatting with Brian at Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. Boy, summer is flying by.
That it is, and while it's still here, we'll keep your rig in tip-top shape for those last few road trips of the season.
Being a AAA and ASC certified shop, I know you guys are well equipped to do just that.
Yes, sir. We're here to take care of all your automotive needs. So from oil changes, batteries and tires, to cooling systems and AC charges and repairs, we're your answer.
Nothing like one-stop shopping.
That's our goal. Plus, we carry over 30 brand name tires and have deals as good as anywhere. And simply the best brake deal around at just $329 per axle. That's new pads, rotors, labor, and a lifetime warranty as long as you own the rig.
And I'll say it again, that's one incredible brake deal. Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail, everybody. The place to trust. Your complete AAA and ASC certified automotive repair specialist. See anytime.com and at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. Your Sports, Your Show. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Rapid City. The Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you on board. Hope you have a solid Tuesday. Zach Barnett's on the way. College football scoop on tap. Pac-12 news today on the media rights deal. There is some news there, even though they didn't come to an agreement to vote yes on it. There's something there for the Pac-12. I just don't know if it's going to be great. Also, Arizona Board of Regents meeting right now. What are they discussing? Arizona. All right, Zach Barnett's coming up. Let's go NFL, yahoosports.com. Frank Schwab on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Frank, good to have you back. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
I'm doing good, man. I want to get your reaction to something I started my show with, and it's the polarizing figure, Kirk Cousins. A lot of Vikings fans up here, Frank, so Here's the deal. The players rank the top 100, and the NFL always releases this about this time, a chunk of players at a time. Well, here's what we're looking at. Kirk Cousins jumps up overall to number 42. He was number 57 last year. He's number 42 this year. And it looks like he's going to be the number 6 quarterback. Because I know the top 5 quarterbacks are going to be there. I don't think anyone else is going to be released because guys have already been released. Kirk Cousins, number 6 quarterback ranked by the players. What do you say?
Yeah, I can't get him that high, and I'm no Cousins hater. I think he gets a bad rap. I think that I don't know for what reason fans just like to hate him. I mean, not Vikings fans, obviously, but everybody else. I mean, if you even mention anything kind about Kirk Cousins, people will just jump on you. So, I think that in one way he's a little underappreciated. I don't think he's the 42nd best player in the NFL. He's pretty much the definition of a good, not great quarterback. He's perfectly fine. You can win with him if you put the right pieces around him. I don't think the Vikings really have during his career, but he's not great. He's not elite. He's not that. But it doesn't mean he hasn't had a very, very good career. But yeah, 6th best quarterback in the league is a lot. But that NFL Network top 100 list every year is pretty bad, honestly.
I wonder why. I mean, the players supposedly say this guy, this guy, this guy. And here's where I think they're off. They got Lamar Jackson, number 72. I don't know if it's that's his injuries or what it is. If you ask Vikings fans today, you want Lamar Jackson this season or Kirk Cousins? They're going Lamar, right? And he's 30 spots behind Kirk?
100%. Yes, there's just no question about that. And yeah, you could say, I guess it was the injuries last year, but I don't think there's any reasonable football person who would pick Kirk Cousins over Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's nothing even against Kirk. It's just Lamar Jackson's better. He's former MVP of the league. He's a very dynamic player. But the criteria for this list is just so weird, and you see, I don't take much into it. I just kind of look at it and chuckle at some of the things because some of the things truly are laughable. It makes no sense at the end of the day.
Do you believe Trevor Lawrence is going to be a top 10 quarterback? Where are you at on him?
Love him. I mean, the second half of last year was just a revelation. And, he always had the pedigree from Clemson. So, you always thought, okay, at some point this is going to turn on for him. It really did last year. If you want to go back, if you have the time to watch one Trevor Lawrence game, go back and watch a Cowboys game. He carried that team into overtime where they won it out of pick 6. And I'm going to probably pick Trevor Lawrence win MVP this year. I think that he's got that in him. I think the Jaguars are going to win their division, which we know an MVP quarterback needs to make the playoffs. And I just think that Calvin Ridley is going to help him a ton. I just see big things for Trevor Lawrence this year. I think he's, at least a top 10 quarterback, probably top 5. And by the end of the year, we could be saying, this guy is challenging, nobody's challenging Mahomes, but that second tier of Allen, Burrow,
Hurts.
all those guys, Hurts, yes, definitely. I think he could be in that tier right behind Mahomes because he has the talent, and it just clicked last year. Again, if you go back and look at some of the games he had late in the season, the light was just, it wasn't just on, it was flashing on. He was really, really good late last season, and I just think he's only going to keep getting better from here.
I bring up Trevor Lawrence, the last one on the list. He's ranked number 96. I'm going, okay. We'll move on. Let's go to this Denver Broncos situation. So you're close to this. You're down there in Denver. Sean Payton said the things about Nathaniel Hackett, worst coaching job maybe in history. Nathaniel Hackett reacts today, said, that kind of breaks the code there. That breaks the coaching code. Aaron Rodgers was very upset and stuck up for Nathaniel Hackett. So what did you think of Sean Payton, a veteran, and why he did that?
Yeah, and I don't buy it at all that Sean Payton has any regrets. I really don't. I mean, he's got to say that. I'm sure that was kind of part of his plan. Look, this guy's coached in the NFL for 15 years. He knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy. He's very, very sharp. There was a message behind this. And I think, honestly, it's easy to see that the message basically was, hey, my players this year can leave everything behind from last year. I'm going to put all the blame on the coaching staff. I'm going to call it the worst coaching job in NFL history. And that allows them, especially Russell Wilson, to kind of start with a fresh slate. And say, hey, we're a good team. We just had terrible coaches. Sean Payton just gave us that kind of boost of confidence there. And I think in specific, it's Russell Wilson. He went to bat for Russ. Kind of said, look, it's not Russ's fault. They couldn't even get the plays in on time. There was an absolute method behind what Sean Payton said. I was shocked. As Nathaniel Hackett probably was too, as he talked about, you never see coaches go after each other unless there's some personal feud somehow. But even Payton said he doesn't even know Nathaniel Hackett. It was he just blasted him. I can't remember something like that happening before, coach-on-coach crime like that. So I think that there was just an absolute reason for it. I think is to get a message across to his team. I don't think Sean Payton regrets anything, even though he said so this week. I think there was a purpose there, and if Nathaniel Hackett got his feelings hurt in the process, Sean Payton isn't exactly worried about that. He's got the biggest ego in any room he goes into. I don't really think he's sitting there worried about Nathaniel Hackett's feelings.
Speaking of the Broncos, Frank, on the field, Tim Patrick down again. This wide receiver that I think the Broncos, they gave him an extension, a pretty big deal, really. He's been out now, ACL last year, Achilles this year. How much does that hurt him, do you think?
Yeah, it just stinks, more for the player than even the team, just because second straight year, that's so heartbreaking. Great story where Tim Patrick kind of came out of nowhere to make himself into a really good NFL receiver, and he's valuable. He's one of these most underrated in the NFL type of guys. Nobody really talks about Tim Patrick being a star, but he's very, very good. It's going to mean more. I think they'll be able to withstand it. They drafted Marvin Mims. They moved up to go draft him. Very, very good prospect. Greg Dulcich, the tight end they have, is, I guess, having a quiet camp, but very talented guy. It just means more for him. I don't think it's honestly going to affect the Broncos that much. I think they'll be able to recover from this, but your heart breaks for Tim Patrick because to go through this 2 straight training camps is just horrible. I can't even imagine how rough that is for a guy still in the prime of his career to have to deal with. Now he's got to deal with another year of rehab. It is really, really rough for him.
Frank Schwab on tonight. Find his work, yahoosports.com, NFL writer. He's on Twitter at Yahoo Schwab. Frank, always good to get you, man. Thanks for hopping on.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
Appreciate the time. Frank Schwab in tonight, yahoosports.com, national NFL writer. He's on Twitter. Follow him at Yahoo Schwab here on the Nate Brown Show. Frank, solid stuff as we get cranking to Zach Barnett. The show continues with the college football side, and there's a couple of things on the Pac-12. They have a media rights opportunity, okay? How much money are they looking at? Well, that's a question. And what are they looking at for Pac-12 sports, football? Where would they put it? What did we find out today? Zach Barnett on the future of that deal. Footballscoop.com, national writer next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show. Follow us and watch the show live on Twitter at Nate Brown Show.
Warren Chemical and Equipment Company has a 5-step lawn care program to make your lawn the best it can be. Let Warren take care of your lawn weeds, plus 5 applications of fertilizer and micronutrients for a green, healthy lawn. We also offer lawn aeration to help your lawn breathe. Warren's 5-Step Lawn Pro Service is the original lawn service company in Rapid City. Single applications of weed and feed or just lawn weeds are also available. Call Warren Chemical and Equipment Company for an estimate on our 5-step lawn care program for your lawn. Phone 342-7644.
First Gold Gaming Resort welcomes everyone to this year's rally. First Gold is the perfect pit stop as you're coming into Deadwood for great food, drinks, and fun. First Gold's Horseshoe Restaurant serves breakfast all day, plus USDA Choice prime rib every night. Enjoy an ice-cold long neck bottle of beer for $2.50 or your favorite cocktail for only $5. Plus, First Gold provides free covered parking and tent setup all over our massive parking lots. Ride safe, and we'll see you at First Gold Gaming Resort, your first stop as you're coming into Deadwood.
As the chief buffet officer here at Pizza Ranch, I get all kinds of buffet questions. Here's one from Cole.
Is there a real cactus in your cactus bread?
Great question, Cole. No, there is no cactus in our cactus bread, just sweet cinnamony streusel. It's on our buffet every day, along with pizza, chicken, ice cream, and all your other favorites. Even better, at least for your parents, kids eat free on Tuesday nights. And don't worry, Cole, there's no coal in our coleslaw either.
Pizza Ranch with 2 Rapid City locations and pizzaranch.com.
We're all going somewhere. Going higher, faster, farther. Going in new directions, to new places. At Monument Health, We keep going so you can keep going. We're dedicated to advanced orthopedic care with the latest innovations, technology, expertise, and treatment. So keep exploring, keep making memories, keep going with Monument Health as your partner. Learn more at monument.health/orthopedics.
Hey, it's Chris Broussard. Remember to catch The Odd Couple weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, let's get back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Thank you very much, Chris Broussard. The Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Rapid City, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. On the radio side, bring us up anywhere, foxsportsrapidcity.com. Quick reminder, if you missed some of the shows, some of the guests, we had Clinton Yates on earlier, talked Major League Baseball trade deadline. Clinton Yates, ESPN's Around the Horn, one of my buddies from way back, had a great career now. We talked some NFL just now with Frank Schwab. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. All of the shows right there. Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you download your podcast, the Nate Brown Show podcast available with guests like Zach Barnett. He's in right now, college football writer, footballscoop.com. I want to go to this Pac-12 thing. I don't know how long we can call it the Pac-12, but where are we at now? And people are trying to kind of work through things. Find him on Twitter at Zach_Barnett. Zach, good to have you back on. How are you?
Doing well, Nate. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate your time, as always. Let's go to the Pac-12 scenario. So I'm going to start with this news that the presidents and ADs met today. They looked at a media rights deal, supposedly, and the reporting is it's heavy streaming with Apple, and there could be an incentive there. Subscriptions will drive up the revenue for the teams. But that's also an unknown because you got to get subscriptions to Apple TV. What do you think of this deal, just what you're seeing on it?
Yeah, it's interesting because it comes at a time when, a lot of people in our business, Nate, are thinking of, a lot of people have made the same calculations that the Pac-12 is making, and that, if we get 10% of our audience that comes to us for free to pay for us, then we're doing okay. And if we get up to 15, 20, 25, then we're doing really well for ourselves. And so I'm sure the calculations are likely the same for the Pac-12, but the difference is they need exposure, and they need to sell their brands. And even if the money makes sense, the only people watching you, paying to watch you, are your extreme diehards that can't live without their Washington State Cougar football. And I'm sure there's plenty of those people, and I salute each and every one of them. You need recruits watching you. You need casuals watching you. You need people watching you that are flipping over at commercial breaks of the Auburn-Tennessee game. And if you do this, none of those people are going to be watching you.
That's interesting. I look at it and I say, even from a revenue side, the reporting sounds like they're like, well, that's a little risky. You got to get a lot of subscriptions, man, because Apple's going to take a chunk. Then you're going to have to break that thing out even more. I don't know if they can hit a number like the Big 12 with that. I mean, I'm not a math guy, but I was crunching numbers going, you're going to have to get a lot of subscriptions to get into the $30 million range per school.
Right. And, again, there's other factors that you got to consider here. You don't just need dollars. You need eyeballs. You need people talking about you. And it's going to be, especially if you're not contending for the playoff, but even if you are, it's going to be out of sight, out of mind.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this. Zach Barnett on footballscoop.com, national college football writer. There's another meeting today, Arizona, and it sounds like the Board of Regents, my producer said, they're meeting right now. Do you think Arizona's getting ready to bail to the Big 12?
You can't. I think anyone who states definitively yes or no is selling you a bill of goods. The saying with realignment is consider everything, believe nothing. And so the latest reporting is that Arizona State, and Utah seem to be moving as one. That either all three will leave or all three will stay. And if don't you owe it to your university when you have a $30 million offer, that is good in hand, versus maybe we could get there if we sell enough Apple TV subscriptions. I mean, if I'm a board of regent, or if I'm on the board of regents for Arizona State, you're going to have to convince me really, really well to not take the Big 12's offer.
Okay, do you think it was a smart play by Colorado to do that?
Yes. I mean, again, there's so much more to a university's conference alignment than how much money they make in a television negotiation. Like, is it a smart thing for Colorado to send its women's basketball team to Orlando, Florida, and Morgantown, West Virginia, as opposed to playing out west? No, it's not. But I mean, first and foremost, they secured the financial viability of their athletics department and the relevancy of their university. So in that respect, yes, it was smart.
Frank, we're going with this. Zach Barnett, footballscoop.com, national college football writer. I want to ask you one more on the Pac-12. I look at it and I say, I told the audience yesterday, Zach, that they will survive, but it'll be a lot different. That's my projection. Maybe it's, I don't know, SMU. Maybe it's a couple other schools. I think they can grab some schools, but it's going to be a lot different. I think the Pac-12 becomes something. What do you say about the survival if these teams leave?
I mean, the weird thing about it is we've seen usually when conferences, what happened with the Big 12, the 6 original schools that have left have all been the top 6 schools in terms of brand value. And what we would see in the Pac-12 is obviously number 1 and number 2 are already gone. But then Colorado is not in the top half of most valuable members for the Pac-12. You'd still have Cal, Stanford, Oregon, Washington, who, I mean, you can argue that's 2, 3, and 4 and 5, or excuse me, 3, 4, 5, 6 behind UCLA and USC, and they'd still be in the conference. So does Stanford University really want to associate itself with Boise State? I don't know. And so I honestly think what happens next, and I'm sure the back channel discussions have already happened, is that you're going to see, hey, you've already got 2 members that are out here that don't make a lot of geographic sense. We make geographic sense. We can let us join. We'll become a 20-team league. We won't demand a full share. We'll solve a lot of problems for you. We fit in a lot of different ways. That's what I'd be doing if I was those schools, trying to sneak my way into the Big Ten.
Do you believe, Zach, we're going to have 2 major super conferences, Big Ten, SEC, like Florida State, Clemson? They'll go to the SEC sometime. We're just going to have major conferences like Oregon and Washington going to the Big Ten. Is that what's going to be?
I think we're already there. In every metric available, from NFL draft picks down through money made to tweets written about, you name it, we already have 2 super conferences. Whether or not Clemson and Florida State and Oregon and Washington are part of it or not, the future is here.
Zach Barnett tonight. Last one really quick. This just came out on the college football side. Des Moines Register. They're reporting the Iowa State quarterback placed 26 bets on Iowa State last year. That's the investigation right now, Des Moines Register. What's your reaction when you hear that?
My reaction is either the mechanisms that they have to catch student athletes within the state of Iowa is better than the other 49 states, or Iowa and Iowa State athletes are just gambling at a much higher level, and it's probably more likely that the powers that be in Iowa are just happen to be catching what's going on, and everything that's happening is happening on some scale at other campuses as well.
Zach Barnett tonight, footballscoop.com. He's on. Zach, good to have you as always. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Zach Barnett, footballscoop.com, national college football writer. reaction to Pac-12 news is this. So they discussed a media deal today, the Pac-12 presidents and ADs, the ones that are left, okay? According to ESPN reporting, it's heavy focused on Apple TV. That media deal would be streaming through Apple TV for the Pac-12. Part of the deal is, in order to get the revenue up for each school in the Pac-12, Apple would give them a share of the subscriptions that are purchased. So instead of like a only guarantee, here's the money, it's like, well, here's the money, here's how much. Nobody's really saying how much yet, but then you can ramp that up if we get a bunch of subscriptions for Pac-12 football, and then every school can make even more. And I just believe that's a massive risk. It's not like the traditional Fox and ESPN deals, which is what they do. Here's the boatload of cash, and then we go and sell advertising, and we just make as much money as we can on that piece. And the schools, hey, we get our boatload of cash, you guys sell advertising, see ya. This is like, well, if we get subscriptions up, we'll give you more money. I get it, I get the model, but it's risky for the universities, so they didn't vote on it today. The Pac-12 ADs and presidents did not vote on that Apple TV-focused streaming package because they say, well, that's risky. We want to guarantee. The Big 12 teams are making $30 million per year on the media, $30 million a year. That's why Colorado's gone, essentially. Maybe Arizona's gone. They're in a meeting right now during the Nate Brown Show, Arizona Board of Regents. That's the Wildcats. And then that's also Arizona State's part of that. Okay, that's a state university there too. So it's a big thing on the media side. And then an interesting point Zach makes, he said, and then if you do get an Apple TV deal, what does that do to the Pac-12 brand? You're not going to have so many people watching. You're not going to be able to flip from FS1 to ESPN to Fox to over to, and now I got to get into the Apple TV stuff. I mean, I hate that for the NFL. I mean, that's the NFL, and sometimes I don't want to get into Amazon Thursday Night Football after I'm watching politics or the news, whatever it is. It's like, oh, now I got to get into the Amazon. Now I got to get out to go to commercial. It's like, people are going to buy Apple TV for the Pac-12? Listener text coming in. That deal sounds like a school band candy drive. Yes. Well, it's expensive candy. The Pac-12 just wants a little bit more. That's like the world's finest chocolates, A little overpriced. But good. Okay, into the drive at 5 on the Nate Brown Show. I've got something for you today. It is a Tuesday. It is 5 questions from Chris. Our loyal listener, Chris, to the Nate Brown Show gives me 5 questions. Do I have the answers? Next.
You're listening to the Nate Brown Show.
First Gold Gaming Resort welcomes everyone to this year's rally. First Gold is the perfect pit stop as you're coming into Deadwood for great food, drinks, and fun. First Gold's Horseshoe Restaurant serves breakfast all day, plus USDA choice prime rib every night. Enjoy an ice-cold long neck bottle of beer for $2.50 or your favorite cocktail for only $5. Plus, First Gold provides free covered parking and tent setup all over our massive parking lots. Ride safe, and we'll see you at First Gold Gaming Resort, your first stop as you're coming into Deadwood.
If you want the peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True. And you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
Are you thinking about a new home or owning your first home in the Black Hills? The local bank positioned to help you through every step of the process is Black Hills Community Bank. With local originators, underwriting, processing, and closings, Black Hills Community Bank is your full-service home loans bank. Black Hills Community Bank is ready to help you take the first step into your new home. Explore your options with Black Hills Community Bank in Rapid City and Spearfish. Online at bhcbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Get organized with 11% off everything at Menards. Whether you need extra storage or want to add an accent to your living space, Menards has the Dakota Closet solution for you. Dakota shelving and closets come in a variety of finishes to match your style. Right now, save big money and get 11% off all Dakota Closet solutions at Menards. Good through August 6th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
If you're grilling this weekend, be sure to have plenty of Artisan Hearth buns and rolls on hand. Fancy equipment and secret sauces are great, but once you've mastered the basics, it's all about the bun. Your perfectly grilled burgers and hot dogs deserve the best, and with several varieties to choose from, including Wisconsin brat buns, gourmet brioche, French, and onion rolls, the bakers of Artisan Hearth have the buns and rolls your family will love. Artisan Hearth, locally baked, delivered fresh daily.
Someone will come in, they'll have a noise under the hood, and we'll go out and take a look at it. We can determine by the type of noise, and usually if we can determine where it's coming from, we can direct them to the piece that has failed. My name is Dick Lemke. Working at Sturtevant's as long as I have, it's definitely become my career. When you need someone to help solve the problem, start with a Sturtevant store near you.
STURTVANTS, come and see Sturtevant's. Has it Sturtevant's?
Hey, this is Rob Parker from The Odd Couple. Don't miss our show weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now we'll send you back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Oh, good stuff on a Tuesday. Thanks for being a part of the show. First hour in the books. Clinton Yates joined us, talk Major League Baseball trade deadline. Good stuff from Clinton. ESPN's Around the Horn. He's on that show every day. No Around the Horn today, so he said, yeah, I'll do the Nate Brown Show. I go all the way back with Clinton, all the way back to NBC in Washington, D.C., the start of my production assistant career. Frank Schwab joined us, NFL writer for Yahoo Sports. Just got done with Zach Barnett, Pac-12 discussion, college football writer in the first hour, packed. Second hour looks good. Craig Maddox on the way. SDPB Sports, East River meets West River, our weekly segment. I love it. He's live from Sioux Falls coming up. Sam Herder's on tap, FCS football analyst for Hero Sports. The votes are in. Who's going to finish first in the Missouri Valley? North Dakota State, South Dakota State, who is it? Votes are in. We'll talk to Sam Herder. The Jacks and Coyotes just opened up camp. That's on the way. The Drive at 5 on the Nate Brown Show, brought to you by Summit Automotive Group. When it comes to car buying truly built around you, that's Summit. The Summit difference. Summit Auto, grp.com. Start there. And the Drive at 5, rolling with, you know what? It's a Tuesday. You know what that means. It is 5 questions from Chris. All right, here we go. I love it. Okay. Chris, our loyal listener, sends 5 questions if you're not familiar. And he asks me tough questions, man. I mean, I can't just prepare for this. I got to be spontaneous with this. He asked me tough questions. 5 questions from Chris on the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Number 1. Nate, with the announcement that Colorado's going to the Big 12, schools like Cal and Stanford that are in the Pac-12 never got in the arms race for larger facilities or huge NILs for their football players. What do you think happens with schools like Cal and Stanford in the Pac-12? Do you think they stop having a D1 football program? No, they don't. I know they're academia. Okay, I know that's their focus. Stanford, phenomenal university. Phenomenal. Cal, really, really good. Okay? So maybe they're not like all in on the big boy sports, but Stanford has a huge number of sports, a ton of Olympic sports. So I understand the model there is like, hey, we're a true academic institution. We provide opportunities. But I will say this, Chris. I still believe the Pac-12 will survive Stanford, Cal, Oregon, Washington. Still for now. I still believe they will survive. They will add some lower tier teams. I think that's how that's going to go. So Cal and Stanford aren't going to lose out. I don't think they're going to bail on big boy football. Pac-12 will not die. Will that be my famous last words? Okay. Question number 2. The first preseason NFL games this Thursday. The Browns and the Jets. Yes, football is back from now until February. Are you happy? I like it. Okay, Nate, there's a buzz around the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. Do they have a chance in the AFC East to actually come out as the division winner? Do the Jets have a chance in the AFC East to be the winner? They will not win the AFC East. I guess they have a chance. I'd put it at about 30%. About 30%. That if the Bills take some steps back. That's if the Dolphins aren't as good as people thought they were last year. Dolphins aren't going to win it. I'm still going to give it to the Bills. You can call me a Josh Allen homer. I am, but I love the Bills still. Josh Allen's the best player in that division, and the Bills are going to win that division. So the Jets, it's going to be a lot of hype. I'm not buying Aaron Rodgers at an elite level. I'm not. Question number 3. Since the Angels announced they weren't trading Shohei Ohtani, the talk around him has been, will he pass Aaron Judge now for the American League home run record? Judge hit 62 last year. Ohtani's at 39 right now. So let's rate it, Chris. Will Ohtani break Judge's home run record in the American League this year? Judge had 41 homers on this date last year. Went on to hit 62. Ohtani has 39. I think he can break it. I really do, because Ohtani just seems more consistent. Judge, he went through some dry spells, some droughts, and he did get it done. He got it done, but it was dicey. I remember that. Ohtani, so consistent, so dangerous. I'm going to give it to Ohtani. That'll be something to watch in the second half. I think he can break that Aaron Judge record. He's nearly on pace. Question number 4. 5 questions from Chris on the Nate Brown Show. Question number 4. Adrian Peterson's 38 years old. He wants to play one more season in the NFL. He only needs 352 yards to top Barry Sanders for 4th all time. Should the Vikings bring back AP for one last ride? Come on, Chris. Was that a joke? I saw this. Adrian Peterson wants to play one more year. It's over. It's over. You can't do that if you're the Vikes. I mean, they have Alexander Madison and maybe not much more. You can't do that if you're the Vikes. It's too much attention, too much baggage there, I think. AP was an all-time great. He's an all-time great. That's not going to happen. Okay, question number 5. All right, question number 5. New York Mets traded Max Scherzer to the Rangers, and now Verlander going to the Astros. Teams like the Padres, Mets, and the Yankees have tried building a team through high-price spending. Why do you think those teams have failed when the stats show spending money gives you the best chance at the playoffs? Yeah, why did the big payrolls at least failing now? Mets, Yankees. I mean, the Yankees are in last there in the AL East. It's amazing. Mets, same story in the NL East. Why did those teams fail? Here's my answer to that. It's a hard question, because the stats show if you spend money, you're going to win in baseball, usually. Not all the time. There's some surprises, but that's how you do it. Baseball, to me, is a very hard evaluation game. You can't see when the drop-off's going to be. Everybody will tell you they can predict that. I still believe you cannot predict when the extreme drop-off's going to be. for a guy who's been good on the mound, a guy who's been just raking. I couldn't tell you when Anthony Rizzo was going to hit the wall. I couldn't tell you when Giancarlo Stanton was going to hit the wall. Max Scherzer's 39, so I know he's up there, 38, something like that. He's up there. He's still a gunner. I'll still take him, but you just spend too much money on it. It's a hard evaluation game to say, well, this guy's been so good, I think I have the Justin Verlander of old, and maybe you don't for that money. You spend, and guys that maybe are getting to that wall, and sometimes you fall right through. And that's where the Mets are. That's where the Yankees are. Huge contracts for guys that production just fell off the map. 5 questions from Chris in the books, and Craig Maddock to get us going in the Drive at 5. East River meets West River. Our weekly segment, how much is too much to spend on travel sports for a dad? Well, he'd tell us. We'll ask Craig next.
Did you miss an interview or great segment on The Nate Brown Show? Just find The Nate Brown Show podcast and listen wherever you download your podcasts.
Santa is back. It's Christmas in July 2023, and Renewal by Andersen is giving the best gift ever this year. First, you get 20% off every window and patio door. And get this, no money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. That means no payments until 2025. But act fast. Santa and the reindeer can't take the heat. This offer ends August 15th. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Andersen's Christmas in July sale is here. Thank you, Santa.
Chevrolet buys cars. You heard that right. We don't just sell cars, we buy them too. We make cash offers to purchase local cars, trucks, and SUVs every day. Tired of listing online? Tired of messages? Or just tired of making payments? Whatever the reason, make an appointment at RapidChevrolet.com for a no-obligation appraisal. It's fast and free. When you're ready to sell, we're ready to buy. At Denny Menholt Rapid Chevrolet, Rapid City.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Do you find yourself in a difficult legal situation? Whether it's a DUI, criminal charges, or an injury case, you need the right lawyer on your side. That's where Wrench Law comes in. With over 30 years of experience, Tim Wrench is a trial lawyer who knows the ins and outs of the legal system. Tim specializes in helping people in a jury trial get the best possible outcome for the case. Don't let legal troubles get in the way of your life. Contact Wrench Law today and get the help you need to move forward. Wrench Law, who you need when you're caught in a bind. Call 605-341-1111.
Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort is the place to stay and play in Deadwood. How about this? Bet on the game, watch the game, and play your favorite table game. You can do it all at Cadillac Jack's with BetMGM. From roulette to craps to blackjack, they have TVs all around. You won't miss a second of the game. Make your plans now to stay and play in Deadwood with Cadillac Jack's and BetMGM. Everything you want in one place.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection, and brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio, sales, service, and recreation, this is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, it's always a great day in the Black Hills. You know that. The Nate Brown Show motto. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. And South Dakota Sports Talk Show rolling on Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here. Drive at 5, brought to you by Summit Automotive Group. It's Start online for next pre-owned vehicle search. The best selection there and the best treatment. Car buying truly built around you. SummitAutoGRP.com. Sam Herder's coming up. FCS football analyst, Hero Sports. Jackrabbits, Coyotes starting up camp. Who's ranked number 1 in the Missouri Valley? We'll get to it. Craig Maddox on from Sioux Falls. East River meets West River, the weekly hitter. He's with SDPB Sports. Craig, good to have you on tonight. How are you?
Hey, happy August 1st.
Yes,
Great.
ready to go. It's almost high school sports season, man. I mean, it's ready. We are ready to roll. I'm going to ask you something here really quick. It's one of my questions of the day, speaking of kind of high school sports and kids getting opportunities. So I see this story come out. It's a news story out of Virginia, and they're getting into the baseball scene, and it's a big story of all these parents that are doing the travel baseball thing. And here in South Dakota, we have a couple of scenes here. We've got Legion. We have the Central Plains Regional, by the way, this week here in town. It's going to be great. High-level baseball, really, really good. And Post 22 is hosting. But then you have this travel scene. Sioux Falls had a travel scene, and they still do, the Sioux Falls Cyclones. I was told that travel scene maybe isn't as aggressive or as popular as now Legion is out there. What would you say?
Well, about 15 years ago, there was a team that kind of started this travel. It took some of the best players that were around here, and they all went and did their thing on the road.
Cyclones, right?
That's correct. That is correct. They were kind of the first ones to do it. I think today, let's face it, not all these families can afford all this travel. I mean, it is unbelievable the cost that goes with a traveling team, whether it's basketball, baseball, whatever they're doing here in the summer. I mean, they're not just traveling from Rapid City to Wall.
Right. Right.
I mean, they're flying and they're traveling to Vegas and Denver and all over the place, and so it can be very costly. And I think it's become a lot more expensive, and I think a lot of families are not going to get involved with the traveling just because of the enormous amount of money that it can cost.
I will say this.
Summer.
I will say this. Legion, it'll still cost you some. The kids have to fundraise and sell tickets, so they still have to do that, but it's not maybe as astronomical as some of the travel baseball circuits. For example, this dad in this news story said he says he spent about $15,000. That's all in registration, flights, hotels, about $15,000 in a summer. Is it when is too much?
How many parents listening right now are raising their hand and say, "Yes,
count it up.
I can do that. That's easy."
Oh, I hope not very many. But how much is too much? Honestly.
Well, a lot of it to me depends on what is the training. What are they learning over the summer? I mean, if we're
the
talking
opportunity
baseball,
and the opportunity, right?
To play a higher level. Is it working more on the fundamentals of baseball, the fundamentals of basketball? There's a lot of team basketball out there during the summer, not necessarily individual performances to make you a better player. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much a rarity, the cost like that. Although soccer is doing the same thing. I mean, with all the club soccer that's going out there, parents can spend a pretty good buck for the summer with all the travel and the cost and food, and is the family going to go with, and that's going to cost more hotel rooms, and it is crazy. I know I had a daughter, and this was 20 years ago, a daughter who played, it was club soccer and traveling from Indianapolis to Kansas City to everywhere else in between. And, of course, I had a large family. We didn't go. She just went with the coaches and stuff like that. I mean, it's unbelievable, the cost today.
Okay, last stat out of this story, which I thought was interesting. After the COVID mess and people started getting back out and doing this, the last 2 years, kids playing travel sports has doubled. What do you say about that's the last 2 years? I thought the travel sports industry was big, really the last decade. Last 2 years, it's doubled.
Well, I've seen in South Dakota, specifically with basketball, there used to be just one kind of travel basketball team in the summer. But now there are so many, and they're traveling every weekend. They're going to Minneapolis. They're coming to Sioux Falls. They're going to Kansas City. They go to Vegas. There are a lot more travel teams today than there were 10 years ago. No doubt about that.
Okay, so here it is. The youth sports industry nationwide was $19 billion a few years ago. $19 billion. That's bigger than the NFL, by the way. Today, it's $39 billion. $39 billion today. Just exploding. Craig Maddock on SDPB Sports, live from Sioux Falls. East River meets West River on the Nate Brown Show. So I got to go to this, Craig, because you're a Vikings season ticket holder. So I cannot not talk to you about Kirk Cousins today. Getting ranked by the players. This is a player top 100 list.
Yeah.
They say Kirk Cousins is the number 6 quarterback, only behind Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Jalen Hurts. There's the big 5. Kirk is number 6. Are you buying that?
Well, his stats have proven that he is one of the top quarterbacks with his throwing stats, touchdowns, interceptions, things like that. I would put him right around 10. I really would.
I think that's fair, Craig. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I would put him right around 10. If you went 12, that's fine. A lot of it deals with rushing. What kind of a threat is he running? But you know what? The offense was very good last year. It was a top 5 offensive team last year. I'm expecting it to be about the same. I would rather have Kirk Cousins than anybody else below 15 and below. I think that the documentary of the summer may have switched a few Vikings fans on their thoughts.
Yeah, I wonder about that. The Netflix thing, like they endeared Kirk, they endeared him to him, right?
Well, he dresses like you and I. We get our stuff from Kohl's and stuff like that.
No, I like Kirk. I stick up for Kirk on this show, Craig. You know this. I stick up for Kirk. But I'm not taking him over Lamar Jackson. I'm not taking him over Trevor Lawrence. I hate to tell you. I'm not taking him over Dak Prescott. I hate to tell you. Are those 3 fair?
I would take him than Dak Prescott.
You would?
Trevor Lawrence is up and coming. Lamar Jackson, you know what? I am okay with the style of quarterback he is, but he's just one run from getting plopped. And his season is done. I don't like running quarterbacks. I never have.
Well, that's interesting. So Craig Maddock gets offered Lamar Jackson today to be the Vikings quarterback, and he's going to stick with Kirk?
Well, I make him a backup until Kirk got there. I just get nervous watching him all the time. And, Lamar is amazing. But as a pocket passer, I would take Kirk Cousins over Lamar Jackson.
East River meets West River, and that's why we're different, and that's just why we're different in this state. Craig Maddox on tonight, SDPB Sports. Last one for you. So Iowa State quarterback. This just came out from the Des Moines Register. Iowa State quarterback could be in some big trouble. There's an investigation that he placed 26 bets, and a chunk of these on Iowa State football.
That's not good.
On Iowa State. Now, I don't, they didn't say, to lose or to win. You're always hoping it's to win, in these cases. But what do you say about that? Iowa State QB, they say he could be in big trouble if they follow the new NCAA rules.
You just can't. Let's just talk college football. Let's just talk college football, and let's just talk Iowa State. You can't bet on football. You can't bet on anything in college football. I don't have a problem if they're going to bet baseball and soccer or anything else, but if you can't bet on the sport you're playing. You just can't do it. And you're seeing in the NFL a number of players who have done it. They're out for a year and could be even longer. If you're betting on the sport that you're playing, you can't do that because there can be all sorts of problems.
Craig Maddock tonight, SDPB Sports. He is in Sioux Falls. He's on Twitter at Craig Maddock, and he's here on the Nate Brown Show. Craig, always good, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, happy August 1st, and can't wait for football and the fall sports to start.
I agree with that. Craig Maddock on tonight, SDPB Sports. East River meets West River, weekly hitter on the Nate Brown Show here on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Good stuff. Good stuff. I got some reaction here to that question. So this dad from Louisville, Kentucky, made this news story, and he said, I've spent about $15,000 in one summer for my boy to play travel baseball. So I asked the question of the day on the Nate Brown Show, what's your biggest takeaway on that? It's just what a parent does, or that sports model is a scam? Here's the thing. And I had somebody say, hey, you said it's not quite a scam. And I say this because it depends on what organization is running what. It costs money to do things. It costs money to have opportunities. It just does. I'm not going to run down the road that this is a scam or that event's a scam. There are probably bad tournaments where everybody says, oh, you got to sign up and pay this much money and you get to be seen by college coaches and we're going to have the best showcase in the country. How many showcases are the best showcase in the country? They all say they are. How many really are? So there are bad actors in the world of youth sports. There's no doubt. But I'm not going to go down the road of, well, everything that costs money is a scam. There are kids that are trying to get opportunities, whether it be playing at the next level. There are parents that just want to give the kids opportunities to have, hey, to follow your passion, and we might go to this event or that event. So I get the youth sports thing. The business side of it gets dicey. It gets too expensive. My concern is, who does that leave out? That's always been a thought I've had. Because I've done the travel soccer, and I've done that, and it costs money. I've just stopped looking so I don't make these news stories. How much it costs. I've stopped looking. But I'm going to tell you, who does the travel elite sports where kids are playing travel sports 2 times as much now over the last 2 years? It's doubled. Is that because more kids are having that opportunity? Maybe, but I wonder, who does that leave out? And so here's what I'd love to see is the community-based sports, those need to increase along with the travel sports for the folks that are in on that too. And I think so far the last 2 years, community-based sports have grown, but not as fast as the travel industry. Why? Money, right? So it comes back to the travel sports make money. The community-based sports, you got to give money. You got to kind of, work on that stuff. And it's a different scenario. I'd love to see both be healthy for the right opportunities for the right kids. But you don't want to have kids left out. What's your answer to the question of the day? I just had a listener text come in. He said, I spent $16,000. I'm at $16,000 on youth sports this year. I think that's what it was. Maybe not this year, but $16,000 on traveling sports. Yeah, and that's what that guy from Louisville said. It's just one summer. He said about $15,000. 86% of the people voting in our poll, it's a lot of votes so far on the Nate Brown Show, 86% say that type of pay-to-play model is a scam. And I said, there's bad actors. There's probably not the right events. It's your job as a parent talking to the coaches. It's your job on that side to say, what are the right events? What are we doing this for? What's the big picture? Okay? And it can't always be we're going to get that college scholarship. You know how many high school kids go on to be successful in college baseball that are trying to get there? 7%. That's the number that just came out from the baseball side. 7% of high school baseball players level are successful in college. It's a tough road. Listener text, then you wonder why parents are going nuts at the games. That's a yearly worth of house payments. That's why parents are going nuts at the games. That's probably right. A little intense, right? I've been there, done that. Not a parent going nuts. I'm talking about parents yelling at my 14-year-old daughter who's reffing. All right. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
As a parent, whether it's your father or mother, and you see the writing on the wall where it's not going anywhere. I mean, you can literally see.
Sure.
He might have the passion for it, but he just doesn't have the athletic ability. When do you step in? Or when does the spouse step in and say, hey, honey, it's time to cut the clip on spending $15,000 and he can just do rec or whatever. If
Yes. And by the way, that shouldn't be a bad thing.
No, I think it's on the parents. And you know what? There's a lot of tough conversations you have with your kids. You don't tell them they suck. You just tell them, you know what? This is something that, is the right path. And maybe you hit a growth spurt or something like that. But, you're sitting the bench or you're just not getting the time. We're traveling to Wyoming. We're traveling to Colorado. We're going to Minnesota. It's time to make the adult decision. You know what? I've had that happen to me. I sucked at basketball, but I was good at other sports.
There you go.
And they cut me in the 7th grade, and I had new shoes on my feet, but at the same time, it's like, hey, it's ain't your game.
No, I got that, and that's why I said I think, I don't think it's all a scam. I think it's who makes the right call, and the parents got to follow what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
I appreciate it, man. Good to hear from you. Thanks for getting in. I mean, it's ultimately the parents and the kid and the family, because some people can spend $15K, some people can't. But there's also some bad events out there that go, hey, it's this much money, and we're going to put you in a great spot, and we're going to have all this stuff here. Just beware. Beware. Let's come back with this on the Nate Brown Show. Let's go college football next with Sam Herder. He's an FCS football analyst. FCS, Jackrabbits, Coyotes, North Dakota State. Who was picked to finish first in the preseason Missouri Valley poll today? Sam Herder, FCS football. We'll break it down next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
For 84 years, Santa is back. It's Christmas in July 2023, and Renewal by Andersen is giving the best gift ever this year. First, you get 20% off every window and patio door. And get this, no money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. That means no payments until 2025. But act fast. Santa and the reindeer can't take the heat. This offer ends August 15th. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Andersen's Christmas in July sale is here. Thank you, Santa.
In Rapid City, South Dakota, the name you've come to trust with all of your hydraulic cylinder servicing needs. Whether it's a simple repair or replacement, no one outperforms Adams ISC. Bent rods, leaking seals, or worn out fittings, they've seen it all. At Adams ISC, they'll get you turned around and back on track in no time. Adams ISC, your hydraulic cylinder service specialist in Rapid City. Just Google Adams ISC for more information.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at BHOSC.com.
For more than 70 years, Consolidated Construction has ingrained their business into the community. When you choose Consolidated, you choose a proud business born in the Dakotas that understands every project is much more than a building. It's a community. It's your business launch pad. It's your hard work coming to life. Each project has a true purpose. Consolidated will work to ensure that there's a quality experience for all who are involved. Learn more about Consolidated Construction at onecalltobuild.com.
When it comes to protecting your home and your belongings, what works for your neighbor most likely won't work for you. Insurance is personal, and that's why the coverage specialists at Fisher Rounds & Associates work with you to tailor a policy that protects your family, home, auto, and other valuable possessions at the most reasonable cost possible. We sweat the small and the big stuff, so you don't have to. That's at your service, at your side. Fisher Rounds & Associates, with offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, and Watertown.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show, built by Consolidated Construction. Great to have them on board. I'll tell you, though, they've been in the Dakotas. They were born right here. They've been doing work for more than 70 years. Consolidated knows each project more than a building. It's a community. It's your business launchpad. It's your hard work coming to life. Work with Consolidated. They know each project has a true purpose. Start online at onecalltobuild.com. Consolidated Construction, onecalltobuild.com. The Nate Brown Show inviting Sam Herder on, FCS analyst, herosports.com, BetMGM. He's on Twitter at Sam Herder FCS. The Missouri Valley preseason poll is out. Sam, good to have you back on. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you, as always, for having me.
Well, I appreciate your time. Let's talk about it. Missouri Valley football, no surprises here, but I'll go down that road. South Dakota State picked number 1 in the preseason poll. North Dakota State picked number 2. Okay, the bigger question I have, has North Dakota State closed the gap from last year with South Dakota State looking at these two rosters?
Looking at the two rosters and just looking at, who's back and who isn't, I'd kind of inclined to say that the gap is going to grow even more between South Dakota State and North Dakota State in 2023. Now, the following year, 2024, if we want to look ahead that much, as we know, the Jackrabbits have a huge and talented senior class this year, and so maybe the Bison get the Jacks back in 2024. But as far as this upcoming season, I've said it a lot before, but you look at just about every position group that the Bison have, and they have some type of question mark, whether, it could be a small question mark or it could be a very big question mark. And this is the biggest, uncertainty about an NSU squad entering a season in probably 12, 13 years. Meanwhile, South Dakota State, they have an all-conference guy or sometimes even an all-American guy at just about every single position group.
I look at it and I say, okay, so South Dakota State has those huge expectations. How different do you think it will be with Jimmy Rogers being the head coach? He's been a longtime D coordinator. Some people say it's just going to be just like no problem. Stepping in, going to be the same deal. What do you say about the new coach for Coach Stiegelmeier?
Yeah, I think it's, I think maybe the bigger thing is maybe just the overall number of new assistant coaches. That could be the bigger challenge. Obviously, Coach Rogers played there, has been a long-time assistant there. Both of his coordinators both played at South Dakota State relatively recently as well, and so it's a pretty young coaching staff. And so, if you had to, argue that there is a worry about the coaching at South Dakota State, which I don't think there is, but I would more so lean toward, all the new assistant coaches rather than the new head coach. Because I think Coach Rogers will do just fine. He's obviously inheriting a roster that, you're inheriting a pretty good roster, and you don't have to, mess around with a whole lot of stuff, do a whole lot of different changes. I assume schematically things are going to be the same. The day-to-day operations, maybe some small changes here or there. And we'll just see what the identity of the team is, in certain situations. Maybe under Coach Rogers, they're more aggressive. Maybe they go for on fourth down more. Maybe, overall defensively, they have a new identity as far as, they're more aggressive. They blitz more. It could be some small stuff like that we see, but overall, I don't expect to see a whole lot of difference with this year's squad compared to past year's squad under Coach Stig.
FCS analyst Sam Herder on tonight for Hero Sports and BetMGM. South Dakota State picked to finish first in the Missouri Valley, get a lot of votes for the Jacks in the preseason poll. North Dakota State picked to finish second. I look at this and I say Isaiah Davis, running back for the Jacks. I just saw this in The Athletic, and you were posting about this. Isaiah Davis for the Jackrabbits ranked the number 2 senior running back in all of college football as far as NFL prospects. Number 2 senior running back. What should people think about that? We're talking high level.
Yeah, part of me wants to say that, that's not a huge surprise because us in this area and just covering the FCS overall, that's not a huge surprise, but at the same time, number 2 running back number 2 senior running back in all of college football, that's obviously very, very impressive. But we saw Pierre Strong Jr. get drafted in the, I think he was either the 3rd or the 4th round a couple of years ago. And I think Isaiah Davis, a little bit different of a running back than Pierre Strong Jr., but I think Davis has, overall the overall skill set to be right around there at the third to fourth round. I think he would test really well athletically. I think his film stands out. I think he got great open speed, but he's also elusive, can break tackles, a physical runner. I just think he has that overall toolkit, and I think he's easily, in my opinion, the best running back in the FCS. And Dane Brugler, he knows what he's talking about, the NFL draft analyst. And, he thinks Davis is one of the premier running backs in all of college football.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a guy that's an NFL guy. I mean, we talk about the running backs maybe being devalued, but Bijan Robinson got drafted high by the Falcons. I'm not going to put Davis up there. Number 2 senior running back prospect for the NFL, the Jacks running back. That just came out. Sam Herder's on tonight, herosports.com. Find his work there. Hey, I got to talk to you about this because conference realignment's floating around. Okay, so it always happens. And here's this poll from fans, Sam. If the Mountain West were to add any schools in the future, they asked the fans, who do you want to add? This is a Mountain West fan poll. And the Mountain West fans said North Dakota State with 58.5% of the vote out of anybody. They got over half now. And South Dakota State's down there at 37.8%. North Dakota State, a big draw for the Mountain West. Do you think that would ultimately work if these teams move around?
Yeah, it was interesting to share that, the Athletic story polling fans, and it was a little less than 200 Mountain West fans that, answered some questions, as far as realignment. Are you happy with your conference? Do you want to move conferences and all that? And I was, pretty surprised to see, NDSU at the top and Montana right there at number 2, and then UTEP at number 3. At the same time, of course, presidents think a lot differently than fans. And who knows, maybe 90 Bison fans saw this link and they acted like they were Boise State fans and voted for their teams to choose those numbers. I have no idea. It is interesting just to look at, obviously in the real world, it doesn't mean a whole lot just because you don't know what presidents, think of teams. And, the president of San Jose State and Wyoming and, Utah State, they might look at Fargo, North Dakota and Brookings, South Dakota, and just have absolutely zero interest in inviting teams from those locations into their conference. But, we'll just have to see. Obviously, I think North Dakota State is more than ready to make the jump to the FBS. I think South Dakota State, if, push came to shove and they got a really enticing FBS invite, I think they would very heavily consider it. But, all of this discussion is mute until that actual invite comes, and if it ever does come. And I don't know if it's coming anytime soon. We'll just have to wait and see.
I really think that North Dakota State brand plays in the Mountain West. I do. And then, you never know. Whoever moves around and whatever happens, as you said, we'll have to see Montana's brand, even South Dakota State's. A little bit different, maybe not as strong in that upper Midwest as NDSU and Montana, but the Jacks have been coming along, as we know. Sam Herder tonight, FCS analyst, herosports.com, BetMGM. He's on Twitter. Follow him, FCS fans, if you're not. Sam Herder, FCS. Sam, good to have you, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it. Sam Herder on the Nate Brown Show. Again, follow him on Twitter at Sam Herder, FCS. Herosports.com, BetMGM. FCS football analyst. Yeah, that was the poll question for Mountain West fans, Mountain West Conference. If we added anybody, who would you want to add most? 58.5% voted for North Dakota State. 43.6% said, yeah, give us Montana. 38% said Montana State, the Bobcats. 37% South Dakota State. I'd like to see all of those. I'd like to see NDSU, Montana, Montana State, South Dakota State. I'd like to see all of those. But I'm, up here. I know FCS football. A lot of people in the big picture. I'm just telling you, nationally, the FCS it doesn't play. Nationally, it doesn't play. But Mountain West looking at, hey, would you like to see NDSU play Colorado State every year? Of course. I mean, we'd love it. I don't know how that plays out from a financial standpoint, a TV standpoint, the whole thing. And then you got to see who's going to move where. Is the Mountain West going to combine with the Pac-12? Would the Mountain West combine with who's left of the Pac-12? I wouldn't mind seeing that either. Who's hot and who's not on a Tuesday night, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. It's how we wrap up every show. Notre Dame makes my Who's Hot category tonight. I'll tell you why next.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City.
At Ace Steel and Recycling in Rapid City, our goal is to make recycling your materials so quick, so easy, and so profitable that you'll become a lifetime recycler. At Ace Steel and Recycling, we buy, process, and ship scrap iron, automobiles, stainless steel, and aluminum, including cans and cast. We also buy insulated wiring, as well as copper, brass, lead, batteries, zinc, and tungsten carbide. Visit acesteelusa.com or give us a call at 342-8649. Ace Steel and Recycling, 2830 Eglin Street, Rapid City.
As the chief buffet officer here at Pizza Ranch, I get all kinds of buffet questions. Here's one from Cole.
Is there a real cactus in your cactus bread?
Great question, Cole. No, there is no cactus in our cactus bread, just sweet cinnamony streusel. It's on our buffet every day, along with pizza, chicken, ice cream, and all your other favorites. Even better, at least for your parents, kids eat free on Tuesday nights. And don't worry, Cole, there's no coal in our coleslaw either.
Pizza Ranch with 2 Rapid City locations and pizzaranch.com.
No one has a handbook for what we're living through today, which is why the experience you have access to makes all the difference in how you make it to tomorrow. For decades, Dakota Bank has worked with ag producers through industry, economic, and regional changes. We're committed to agriculture. We're committed to the producers and families that make our communities great. Go with commitment, experience, and integrity. Dakota Bank, banking, insurance, mortgage, and trust. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and trust not FDIC insured.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show. Fun Tuesday show. We've been packed tonight. Every night at this time. It's Who's Hot and Who's Not. Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Tonight, Kids Night at the Pizza Ranch. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult. At the Pizza Ranch Buffet Tuesday nights. The buffet's open until 8 tonight. Plenty of time. It's dinner time right now at the Pizza Ranch. 2 locations in Rapid City. Best buffet in town. Who's hot and who's not on the Nate Brown Show? Let's go with Notre Dame in my Who's Hot tonight. There was just a bidding war. We didn't hear about this until today, but Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports says Nike was trying to get the apparel deal at Notre Dame. Adidas trying to get the apparel deal at Notre Dame. And who gets the official licensing extension? Under Armour. Under Armour is going to have to pay Notre Dame to be on their jerseys and the gear and the cash, $100 million over the next 10 years. Notre Dame's new deal, 10-year contract, $10 million a year from Under Armour, who beats out Nike and Adidas in a bidding war. Notre Dame staying with Under Armour. We'll take that. I mean, that's $10 million a year on the apparel. And the Pac-12's just trying to get like $10 million a year on all their games. All right. Who's not category tonight? Going to our favorite head coach of the Denver Broncos organization, Nathaniel Hackett, who said today at his press conference that Sean Payton, he broke the code of coaching by, saying that Nathaniel Hackett may have done the worst job in NFL history. Nathaniel, just let it go. You didn't do the job. You did a terrible job. It is what it is. It's accountability. Nobody's going to, feel bad for you in Denver. The code, I don't know what the code is. Sean Payton, big ego, and now he's going to have to own up to it. Nathaniel Hackett and the Jets, just let it go. Nathaniel Hackett and the Jets play at Denver in October. Then we'll see how the code goes that night. Who's hot and who's not in the books? We're back tomorrow on the Nate Brown Show at 4. Nathaniel, don't be so sensitive. The Odd Couple's on right now.
Did not trash